And from the moment you change your perspective on money, the opportunities that were hidden begin to appear. You start to see paths, make smarter decisions, and money stops being a problem and starts becoming an ally. So, before you want to earn more, before you want to invest, start at the root. Change your mindset. Now that you understand everything starts in the mind, let's take a more concrete step. And this step involves choices, the ones we make almost without thinking in our daily lives, but that shape our financial future. Robert Kiyosaki teaches something very simple but powerful. The rich buy assets, the poor buy liabilities. But what does that really mean? Let's break it down clearly. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. It's that simple. Now, let's see that in practice. Imagine you've just received your salary. Most people rush to buy a new car, the latest smartphone, a bigger TV, or expensive clothes. None of that is a crime, of course. Everyone enjoys comfort. The problem is that these purchases are liabilities disguised as achievements. Why? Because the new car starts to lose value as soon as it leaves the dealership. On top of that, it brings expenses, fuel, maintenance, insurance, taxes. The new phone, it won't earn you a single cent. On the contrary, it was expensive and will soon be outdated. Designer clothes, they won't pay you dividends either. Now, do you know what an asset is? A rental property that generates income every month. Shares of companies that pay dividends. An online course you created and continue to sell. A small business that runs even when you're not there. Here's the magic question that can change your life. Will this make me money or cost me money? Simple, direct, and often ignored. The rich ask this question every time before they open their wallet. The poor often don't ask themselves anything, they just buy what they deserve, what they've always dreamed of, or what's trending. This isn't about living a joyless life. It's about living wisely. With every purchase decision, you are either building your future or sinking it. This is the heart of financial transformation. If you're still thinking, all of this makes sense, but where do I start? The answer is clear. Start within. Many people believe the key to financial freedom is learning how to invest, starting a business, or earning more. And yes, all of that helps. But before any practical step, you need to change the way you think about money. Think about it. A hammer can be used to build a house or destroy one. The hammer is neutral. What changes is how you use it. Money is exactly the same. It's neither good nor bad. It simply amplifies who you already are and what you do with it. If you have a confused mindset about money, if you see money as an enemy, a taboo, or something that's only for the rich, you could even win a jackpot and still end up losing it all. And worse, you'll keep thinking the problem is the world, the government, your boss, luck, anything but your own mindset. Here's a real example. Two people earn the same salary. Let's say 2,000 euros a month. The first person sees that money as a limit. They think, this is all I have, I'll pay the bills, treat myself a bit and hope there's something left. The second person looks at the same 2,000 euros and thinks, how can I use part of this to plant something that will bring me returns in the future? They study, learn, cut unnecessary expenses, and set aside money to invest in themselves or in a project. At first, it seems like a small step, but over time, the results come. That's the power of a mindset that thinks like an owner, not like a victim. Have you ever asked yourself what you learned about money as a child? Maybe you heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Thinking too much about money takes you away from faith. Rich people are all arrogant. These phrases stick in our subconscious and shape our financial decisions in adulthood, even if we don't realize it. That's why change starts there, by deconstructing old beliefs and creating new thoughts. You need to believe that you are capable of managing money well, multiplying it, and living in abundance. And you know what's most beautiful about all this? Changing your mindset costs nothing. You don't have to pay to think differently. But it does require courage. Courage to stop blaming others. Courage to take responsibility for your own financial life. Courage to say, this is how it's been until now, but from this moment on, things will be different. If you've made it this far and you're truly thinking about changing, great. But from this point forward, the practical part begins. And it all starts with knowing exactly where your money is going. Now that your mindset is transforming, it's time to get grounded and face a number most people don't like to confront honestly. Where is your money going? This is the second stage on the road to financial freedom, according to Robert Kiyosaki, cash flow control. Let's imagine the following scenario. You're in a boat, paddling in the middle of the sea. You're putting in effort, giving your all, but the boat isn't moving. Water keeps coming in. You can paddle all you want. If you don't plug the hole, you'll sink. That's what happens when someone earns, but doesn't know how much they spend. They try hard, work long hours, get their paycheck every month, but live under pressure, always chasing losses. Why? Because they don't know where the leaks are. Here's the big truth. It doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you can keep. Some people earn 5,000 euros and live in debt. Others earn 100 to 200 euros and manage to save, invest, and even travel. The secret is control, and we're not talking about becoming stingy or counting every penny. We're talking about clarity. Do you know how much you spent on food last month? What about transportation, online shopping, spontaneous snacks that just this once that happens every week? Most people can't answer. So here's the first step, simple but powerful. Write everything down. Yes, everything. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a phone app. What matters is recording every cent that comes in and goes out. During the first 30 days, you'll start to notice a pattern. You'll see where your money is silently leaking out. And here comes the most liberating part. You'll be able to make conscious decisions, no longer acting on autopilot. Cash flow control is like turning on the light in a dark room. You stop stumbling because you can finally see the path. And you know what happens when you start to control your money. You begin to feel safer, more in control. And that has an incredible emotional effect. You stop living in fear and start building with intention. Now that you understand the importance of controlling your cash flow, it's time to learn a practical strategy that can transform how you use your money. The famous 30-30-30 rule. Now let's talk about a fundamental skill, selling. A lot of people think that selling is something only those who have a physical product or a service to offer need to learn. But the truth is that all of us, at some point, are selling something. Have you thought about that? When you go to a job interview, for example, you're selling your skills. When you present an idea to someone, you're selling that idea. Even when you're trying to convince your kids to take a bath or do their homework, you're in a way selling something, an idea, a vision. Selling is a universal skill that we all can and should master. Kiyosaki always says that those who know how to sell never run out of money. The reason is simple. Selling is the bridge between what you have to offer and what the other person needs. If you understand this, your negotiating power increases exponentially. Here's the secret. It's not just about convincing someone to buy something. It's about understanding what the person really needs and how you can deliver that in a way that creates value for both. Selling is about solving problems. It's about helping people see the solution you have for the challenges they face. Now, imagine this situation. You have a brilliant idea for a product, but you don't know how to present it. If you don't know how to sell that idea, it will never reach the hands of those who need it. On the other hand, if you know how to present your idea clearly, convincingly, and empathetically, you'll be building the foundation of your success. The good news is that selling is a skill that can be learned, just like any other. You can learn persuasion techniques, how to communicate effectively, and how to build a trusting relationship with the person you're negotiating with. So, what can you start selling today? It could be an idea, a service, a product, or even your own time and skills. The more you practice your selling skills, the more opportunities will arise, and over time, this skill will become one of the most powerful tools to secure your financial freedom. If you want to prosper financially, the first and most important investment you can make is in yourself. Before seeking the next big financial investment, the next asset, or even the next venture, it's crucial to understand that you are your greatest asset. The knowledge you acquire, the skills you develop, and the mindset you build are the foundations that sustain all your success. Often, the pursuit of money leads us to focus on tangible assets, such as real estate or stocks. However, investments in your own education are the most powerful ones you can make. Imagine that you are a plant, and the knowledge and skills you acquire are the water and sunlight that allow you to grow and flourish. For example, if you learn about personal finance, you'll make wiser decisions with the money you earn. If you improve your communication, you'll be able to negotiate better contracts or convince more clients. If you dedicate yourself to learning about new technologies, you'll be able to open new doors of opportunity in the market. Now, reflect. When was the last time you invested in a course or learned something new to improve yourself? Have you been investing time and resources to enhance your skills and expand your vision? Often, we forget that by learning and developing, you become capable of generating even more value for the world around you. The more you grow as a person, the more opportunities you attract into your life. Continuous education is not an option, it's a necessity. After all, the world is constantly changing, and those who don't adapt will fall behind. So the next time you're thinking about how to increase your income or achieve financial freedom, remember that the best investment is in yourself. Money is like water. It needs to be in motion. It needs to flow from those who don't know how to use it to those who know how to multiply it. That's why the banking system, the capital market, and angel investors exist. There are people wanting to invest and earn, and there are people with projects and vision ready to make that money work. But be careful. Using other people's money is not an excuse for recklessness. It's an art that requires planning, responsibility, study, and, most importantly, a growth mindset. Now I ask you to reflect calmly. How many opportunities have you let slip by thinking you didn't have enough money? And what if, instead of thinking, "I can't," you started thinking, "How can I?" Many times, it's not a lack of money that holds you back from growing. It's a lack of strategy. Have you ever stopped to think about how the way you think directly influences what you achieve? Since we were young, most of us were taught to follow the traditional path. Study, earn a degree, look for a good job, work hard to earn a salary, and hope that by the end of life you have saved enough to enjoy retirement. But the problem is that this model was made for another time, a time that no longer exists. Today, those who simply wait for a paycheck at the end of the month get stuck in an endless race, always depending on someone, always vulnerable to changes, layoffs, economic crises. Robert Kiyosaki teaches something powerful. If you want to build financial freedom, you need to change the way you think. You need to stop acting like an employee who just follows orders and start thinking like an owner, like an entrepreneur of your own life. And here's the big secret. Having an owner's mindset doesn't mean you need to open a business tomorrow. It means starting to ask yourself every day, how can I create more value in what I do? How can I solve problems that no one else is solving? How can I generate results that truly impact? An owner doesn't just wait for orders. They think of opportunities, innovate, take responsibility for success, and because of that, they earn much more, both financially and in freedom of choice. Let me tell you a quick real story. A young man who worked as a waiter at a restaurant. Every day, he observed what the customers most requested, what was missing in the service, and wrote it all down. Instead of just doing what he was told, he suggested improvements, created meal combos, helped with the promotion on social media. The result? In a few months, he became the manager. Later, he became a partner in a new location. All because he thought like an owner even before he was one. So I ask you a question to truly reflect on. Have you been thinking like someone who only takes orders, or like someone who builds opportunities? Are you waiting for a raise, or creating so much value that the raise becomes a consequence? Changing your mindset is the first and most powerful step to changing your reality. Imagine if you had, in your hands, the chance to take your product, idea or service to thousands, maybe millions of people without ever leaving home. Now stop and think. This opportunity already exists. It's right in front of you. It's the internet. Today, we live in an era where it's never been so cheap, so fast, and so possible to create businesses from scratch and reach the entire world. Before, to open a store, you needed to spend a fortune on rent, employees, and stock. Today, with a computer and an internet connection, you can create an online store, sell digital products, offer services, give classes, do mentoring. The sky's the limit, but still many people don't take advantage of this incredible opportunity. Why? Because they're stuck in an old mindset, thinking that the only way to make money is the traditional way. And the world has already turned the page. Here are a few examples. Someone who knows how to sew can sell sewing courses online. A teacher who loves to teach can create a YouTube channel or sell ebooks. A good cook can offer cooking classes via video calls. A gardening expert can create a page teaching how to set up home gardens and sell personalized consultations. It doesn't matter what your area is. There's a way to use the internet to become an entrepreneur. And it's not just about creating a cute Instagram or website. It's about understanding that today you can generate value, build an audience, and turn that into income. You can work for yourself. You can reach people who need exactly what you offer. Now I want you to reflect, how many times have you avoided starting a business, thinking you needed a lot of money to get started? And what if what was missing wasn't money, but the courage to use the most powerful tool of our generation? The internet is a huge avenue, full of cars going at full speed, some selling, others buying, others changing their lives. The question is, are you just going to watch, or are you going to put your car on that road too? When we talk about investments, it's common to think about buying something today, waiting for years, and hoping it will appreciate one day. It's like planting a tree and waiting decades to pick the fruit. But there's another path, a much more powerful one, for those who want to build true financial freedom. Robert Kiyosaki teaches that you should focus on assets that generate immediate cash flow. In other words, assets that start putting money in your pocket every month without you having to wait years to see any results. Imagine, for example, buying real estate and renting it out, receiving rent every month, investing in stocks that pay regular dividends, starting a small business that already generates recurring profit. These are examples of assets that work for you while you sleep. It's like building several small money faucets scattered throughout your life, each one dripping a little, some more, some less. But together, they can form a real river of extra income. Now think carefully. What's smarter? Buying something that promises a benefit in the distant future, or building sources of income now that feed your financial freedom every month? This choice changes everything. Of course, appreciating assets also have their value, but cash flow, is what guarantees stability, security, and decision-making power. It's cash flow that pays your bills, your investments, your freedom of choice. I invite you to reflect. How many purchases have you made, betting only on the hope that, one day they would be worth more? And if, instead of waiting, you started today to build sources of income that will begin working for you next month? The future is not just made of big promises. The future is built from the small, smart decisions you make today. Now, if you've made it this far, you already know that to build wealth, you need to focus on what will generate income for you. And what many don't realize is that throughout life, they end up acquiring liabilities that only drain their money and energy. Liabilities are anything that consumes your money without bringing any return. This can range from a car you buy, without considering maintenance costs, to expensive gadgets that only distract you, but add nothing to your financial health. The key here is, reduce your liabilities to a minimum and invest in what will actually generate wealth. Trade the new car for the purchase of a rental property. Leave the expensive gadgets to invest in courses that will add value to your life. It's the concept of living below your means and investing in your future, instead of spending on things that only bring temporary happiness. Now, I want you to think, what liabilities can you eliminate from your life today? And what can you do, starting now, to transform your expenses into sources of income? And before I finish, I want to invite you. If you've made it this far, you are someone who is seeking more knowledge, more freedom, more opportunities. So, if you feel this content makes sense to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone you know who needs to hear these tips. You might be the key for others to also transform their financial lives. Together, we can change our way of thinking, investing, and building the future. And now tell me, which of these tips impacted you the most? What are you going to change in your financial life starting today? Leave your comment, share, and let's go together towards financial freedom. Until the next video.